Hi guys, Blake here today with Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina on beautiful Lake Taneycomo, upper lake. It is January the 22nd, Saturday, and I'm going to do the one cast for you today. So, I boated up here. I am just a little bit below Andy Williams's eddy, just above the tennis court, favoring the north bank. Today I have some San Juan worms, some scuds, some eggs on the old drift rig here. I'm starting off with an 1/8 ounce weight. I might have to slow the boat down with the trolling motor to get that to bounce right, but I think that'll be a better option than going too heavy. The water is starting to drop. They had 4 units running for the last few hours. They're supposed to turn it to 2 units as of a little bit ago. The bank's dropping, but I want to get this drifting before they shut it all the way off. Down here I have an orange egg, and about 14 inches below that I have a big size 12 rabbit hair gray scud. Tournament is currently underway. I've got 4-pound test for my leader underneath the weight there. A little bit better conditions today. This morning started off at 15 instead of 5, so 3 times warmer this morning for the start of the tournament than it was yesterday morning. Ooh, that was a bite. And it is probably approaching 30 degrees now, so feeling a bit of a heat wave today. There, if I can land it, there's a fish on the first cast. And it feels like a decent fish at that. And he liked the size 12 hair gray scud. Come here. Hey, a fish on the first cast. I'm gonna take my glove off and get my hand wet. I can afford to do that today. 30 degrees feels like warmth. Come here. Come here. Give me my scud back. Alright. There is a fish. Nice chunky belly. I'm not sure that I want to be quite this far over near the bank. That kind of pushed me. However, I do know that when they run that 4 units, that these fish will scoot over on these inside seams. So there might be a few extra fish over here if they were trying to get away from the current. And my 1/8 ounce weight is feeling like just about the right bounce. Oh, I don't have many reports from the tournament yet. We only saw a few guys catching fish earlier whenever we... Ooh, that felt like a fish. I'm going to keep scooting out towards the middle. I feel like I need to be in deeper water. Only saw a couple guys catch fish early this morning when Nathan and I went to take our tournament pictures. But I do know that 2 big trout have been turned into the dock already and are in the live wells. There's 1 brown and 1 rainbow. Not sure how big they are. I haven't got to really look at them too much myself. But I do know they're there. And I do know that the brown was caught dragging a jerkbait on the bottom below Fall Creek this morning. Calvin Mansky and Brad Reed are out in the tournament, and they said they've caught a lot of small browns this morning dragging jerkbaits. Something I'll do whenever I can't feel the bottom first is just let out an extra couple feet of line. I lost my feeling for the bottom here. And if that doesn't solve my problem, which it didn't, I'm going to turn the boat nose forward and slow it down a touch. Now that we kind of got out here in the middle, the water's moving just a touch faster. And using the trolling motor to slow it down is doing the trick. Overdressed. Felt good in the 15 degrees this morning, but a little heavy for 30. There was a bite. Sometimes if you can feel them playing with it, if you lift the rod tip up and then lower it 6 inches to 12, sometimes they'll come back and it'll feed right into their mouth. Boats launched at 8 this morning. I think we had about 50 teams, a few cancellations. And I know that because that 4 units of water was running, that it breaks up some of that moss on the bottom. So I'm just going to pull this in periodically and make sure that I'm clean, which I was that time. Today the wind and the current are wanting to keep pushing me against that bank over there. Ooh. Talked to Seth Turner on my way up here. Sounded like the jigs, they weren't at least biting the jigs with the 4 units of water running. I don't know if he's switched back and tried it now that it's running 2 units. But this 2 units will be short-lived, and then they will be shutting the water all the way off for the rest of the day again. I'm thinking that thing I thought was a bite might have been the bottom, so pulled in, make sure I don't have any moss again. I'm also going to scoot a little closer to the middle again. Some interesting news from yesterday. A good friend of mine, Mario Lazina, caught his personal best brown. I think he was up here in the trophy area. I'm not quite 100% on that, but I do know he was throwing a jerkbait that he paints up and caught his personal best brown, a big 30-incher. And then Darren told me this morning that he had someone come in that was fishing on the lake yesterday that also caught a 17-pound brown. So two big browns caught yesterday on the lake. And any trout in the 30-inch class can weigh up to those weights, and sometimes even a little heavier. So. Get a little closer to the channel. We're coming up on the narrows right now. I always like drifting right on the edge of the channel. The channel's over there next to the bluff. Comes out 20, 25 feet, and it starts to taper back off onto this section here. If you can get your flies kind of right near that transition, you usually find some fish there. Here started off hot, but the narrows is always a good spot to drag the scuds and the eggs through. Ooh, that felt bitish. The water in the narrows is always running just a touch faster. Which will be good because it looks like they are killing the water the rest of the way. It's also a spot where you can pick up a little more moss because it's shallower and your weight will bounce a little harder. So if I was out here to fish longer, I would, I started off with a bite immediately in that first section, and so far I haven't found any more. But my next trip I'd start back off where I caught the fish. I might try going over deeper or going shallower and drift back down through here again, and just kind of keep making the zone smaller wherever you're finding the bites, and then just keep working that area. A little bit of moss on my scud, just enough. Officially coming on the bottom side of the narrows, drifting right on the outside of the channel still. I'm casting into the channel over there along the logs that are down. Still slowing the boat down just a little bit here. Once you get to the bottom side of the narrows and it deepens up a little bit, that water stops running quite as fast. I want to keep reeling in every minute or two here and repositioning my cast kind of 45 degrees upstream over in that channel and let it kind of drag through and straighten out. I heard a report from somebody that came in to get some more gear in the office that it was the slowest tournament day they've ever had. And it is tough whenever they crank that 4 units up. I know when fish go from setting in still water to straight to 4 units, it really messes with them. There's a big group of sycamore trees along the kind of middle of the island, about 4 of them, and their bases all meet together and their roots stick out in the water here, and it kind of creates just a little pool right back behind it. And I always like to make sure I get a fresh cast right into that pool when I go by. There. There was a fish sitting in that pool over there. Stay on there, guy. Another taker on the scud, and it looks like a brown trout. It is a brown trout. That's good. Come on. Give it to me. Hey. Beautiful, chunky little brown. How did my scud get all the way in the net like that? Oh my gosh. Apparently the net likes scuds more than the fish do. Ooh, there's a big fish rising over here. There's a lot of fish rising over there on the edge of the island. Maybe I should have drifted a little closer to the island. Yeah, there's some white bubbles on top of the water right now. And these trout are coming up, and I don't know if there's something they're seeing in the bubbles that I'm not, but they're coming up and eating those bubble clouds off the top of the water. We're almost to the end of Eagle Island now, and probably to the end of our broadcast today. Oh, that was not a fish, but it got me excited for a second. Seeing the fish rise like that just really makes me want to throw a dry fly. Okay, well, we found the very end of the island, so I think I'm going to call it there today. A little bit of action, both species today. We thank you guys for watching. Like and share us on Facebook, and we will do it again tomorrow.